Hello and welcome to this briefing, which is a repeat of the live Zoom briefing I delivered earlier on today for any colleague who couldn't get on for whatever reasons. So the briefing's going to talk about our vision, our values, our strategic priorities, a little bit about looking forward to next year, and lots of thank yous. So to start with, I want to talk about our vision, and it's on the slide there. I'm returning to my staff briefings in September and using Simon Sinek's why, start with why. It's the why, the how and the what. So Simon Sinek argues that all successful organisations know and define their why. They know why they are there. They have a clear identity of how they do things. That's their culture or their values. And they know what they are doing really clearly. So this is our why. Every child's life is enhanced and advanced by the highest quality of education. Enhanced by the experience, a high quality experience for all, regardless of background. An experience that exposes our students to the best that's been said, thought and done. An experience that means that whilst at our school and colleges, so at our schools and college, students are happy, safe and successful. And we talk about being advancing their lives, so advance by giving them the knowledge and skills they need for the next stage of their lives, ensuring they have every opportunity to get the best results possible for them, that they reach their potential so that they have the currency in their pockets for the next stage of their lives. So that's our vision. But what about our how? The collective way. How do we, the collective way, how are we going to ensure that we fulfill our vision? How do we fulfill that vision? Well, that's by living our values. This is our how. Excellence, belonging and partnership. These are verbalised and expressed differently in each academy. That's because we believe that each school should keep their own identity, place and purpose. But there is a thread from each academy's values to our foundation values. Hopefully you recognise these. Hopefully you'll agree that these are values, worthwhile values and values to live by. But as Mary Myatt said at the Research Ed event in Macclesfield on Saturday, these values need to be lived, not laminated. So we achieve the vision by collectively living our values. But what's our what? What's our what? Well, our what are our strategic priorities. And I wanted to take this opportunity to reflect on what we've achieved in terms of against these this year. Now, these strategic priorities were approved by trustees in December and shared with governors during the spring term. And our first strategic priority is that of continual improvement and enhancement of quality. And our teacher professional development model has kicked into gear this year, particularly with our early careers teachers programme, which the first cohort have gone through the full 2 years. Our aspiring middle leaders programme has been really successful as colleagues are reaching the end of there. And in terms of a sense of belonging, well, an example of this can be seen through our Staff Consultative Association, of which the individual academy consultation groups have worked to improve the colleague experience at academy level, and that feeds into the foundation SCA. So my first thank you is to all of you who have contributed to making our foundation an even better place to work at academy level and foundation level through these groups. I want our foundation to be a listening one, and these are some of the structures where we listen, reflect and enhance quality even further. Some examples of how we're going to enhance quality even more next year is continuing that theme of investing in our people, investing in ourselves through the early careers programme for the aspiring middle leaders. So 19 different colleagues taking part in the aspiring middle leaders, 16 different colleagues taking part in our aspiring senior leaders programme for the first time. We are going to develop a model of professional development for our learning support progress mentors, learning mentors, students-facing support colleagues. And we're going to develop a professional development model for our business support colleagues as well. So our second strategic priorities there, and that's in terms of making us a sustainable learning organisation. You can see that we've we've secured, we've got £77 million worth of investment in our sites over the next couple of years. 5 million of that has been secured through funding and through the LA, and 2 million from reserves. So there's a programme at the County High School Lethbridge with new classrooms, new reception, upgraded existing classrooms, and improvements to the pitches. At Middlewich, the roofing work will start on the art and the science block over the summer. And life safety works, so fire doors and the fire system at Middlewich. At Sir John Dean Sixth Form College, we've got the funds to create a new classroom block, exam space and social spaces in the former swimming pool block. And it's great to see developments at Macclesfield Academy as well, with their new roofing work coming towards an end. So my second thank you is to all of our estates and finance colleagues who've been part of the securing of the funding and delivering these projects. Thank you. There's a poster on my wall back in my office. It's a Sam Seaborn quote from The West Wing, and he talks about schools should be palaces. Well, they might not be palaces, but we're getting there. They're certainly improving. Our next strategic priority is all around growth. And we've got growth at Lethbridge. So over the next 2 years, we'll see an additional 75 students lucky enough to attend the school. Growth at Sir John Dean's, where over the next couple of years, we'll have an extra 100 students able to embrace the opportunities that Sir John Dean's presents. And then we got the Macclesfield Academy joining the foundation, hopefully in November. We are really excited about them joining us. The final strategic priority is all about professional curiosity and innovation. And one example on there is that there's a few examples on the screen there, but countless more at academy level and throughout the foundation. And certainly, for example, the work around curriculum that I've seen and that's been endorsed by Ofsted in all of our academies in recent memory is an example of this. Subject experts making informed choices and decisions around what to teach, when to teach, and how to teach it. It doesn't mean it's done, and to quote Mary Myatt again, the curriculum is never done. The curriculum is a never-ending story. So, also an exciting thing coming up in July 2024, so looking forward to a full year where we're going to get together in person as a foundation, as colleagues in the foundation, where we're going to work together to improve even further our approaches to creating the conditions for the highest standards of education and for making the foundation an even better place to work. So an exciting and innovative event coming up in July 2024. Looking ahead just briefly there, you'll see on the screen there, these are the conditions that we're putting in place and the structures we're putting in place across our foundation to create and develop next year. So the ECT programme, the conferences we've talked about, the aspiring middle and senior leaders, examples of people investing in their own time, in their own professional development. So I want to pause there and say a massive thank you to all those who attended the Macclesfield Academy on Saturday for their Research Ed event. Thank you to Sir John Dean's colleagues who've attended the Festival of Education last week. I enjoyed attending that with you, and in particular to Andrew Bowden for his well-attended and well-planned and delivered presentation. So thank you to all teaching staff, learning support staff, admin, finance, marketing, estates, IT, business support colleagues who've invested in your own professional development this year. Remember that the primary benefactors of this are the children that we serve. Serve by constantly striving to be even better. Not because we're not good enough, but because we can be even better. I want to thank those colleagues who've expressed an interest in being part of the Foundation Leader of Education programme. 29 brave colleagues backed themselves, put their hand up to contribute to that vision across the foundation. Well done to those that have been selected, and thank you in advance for all colleagues who will be part of those professionals groups that those colleagues will lead next year. And I want to thank those finance, HR, estates, sustainability, IT colleagues who've taken part in working groups in those areas. Great examples of colleagues working together to create and share best practice in our support functions to enable our students to be the recipients of the highest quality of education. Thank you to the leaders of these areas and to their teams in finance, HR, estates and IT. High functioning teams providing the conditions for excellence. I want to thank all of those involved in our Safeguarding Professionals group this year, and in fact the wider safeguarding team. Our most important job is to keep our students safe. and I know that the burden on our safeguarding and pastoral teams is greater than ever. I also know that the external support that these teams used to rely on is smaller than ever, and at times, in some cases, non-existent. We have more vulnerable students than ever before. We have more students with complexities than ever before. We have more students going through complex times with complex lives. So thank you to our DSLs and to their teams. Thank you to our attendance teams working harder than ever to get our students into school where they're safe and able to learn. Thank you to our education support workers, encouraging our students to make reasonable expectations and working to get them into school as well. Thank you to our SENCOs, our SEN team, our learning support assistants, progress mentors, learning mentors, teaching assistants, working day in, day out with our most vulnerable, often disadvantaged students. Those who need most support, those who deserve it most, those who, for some, don't have many positive interactions outside of school. Much of the work that you do goes unnoticed, but it is appreciated by me, but more importantly, by the children and their families that you are carrying, nurturing, and enabling them to reach their potential. Thank you. And on to some more thank yous. I've said that word a lot during this briefing, but I mean it. There's lots to be thankful for and grateful for this year, and lots to be proud of. As I visited our schools last week and met with our exams officers and their teams, there was a lightness in their step and a smile on their faces, and rightly so, as they've reached the end of the exam season. So a massive thank you for all the planning and replanning that goes into every exam season, both external exams and internal student tracking or practice exams. Thank you for providing the conditions for our students to have the best opportunity to show the examiner what they know. Thank you to all the readers and invigilators who've also contributed to this. And other colleagues in our schools who seemed happier and more relaxed than a few weeks ago are our timetablers. And although I know it's slightly different at Sir John Dean's, where the scheduling work's still to be done, but having wrestled my way through scheduling the timetables in my time, I know the relief you feel when it's done. Well done, and thank you to all the subject leaders and their teams who will have contributed to the creation of those timetables. Now, people who always appear happy and smiling are our admin teams and those who certainly work on reception, the front line for our visitors. Whenever I visit the schools, I'm always impressed and always greeted with a lovely smile. And they are, as I say, the front line for our visitors who aren't always smiling or there for positive reasons, but visitors who always receive a smile from our reception teams, setting the tone for our school from the start, diffusing and making our visitors feel welcome, and maybe even making them feel like they belong. Thank you. Some of these teams are also part of our first aid team across the foundation. I want to say a massive thank you to them as well, whether it's a kind word that's needed sometimes, an encouraging get on with it sometimes, or in some cases, and certainly this year, much more serious incidents. Our first aid teams are vital to ensure that our students are safe and feel safe. So thank you to all the first aiders. I'd also like to thank all of our governors and all of our trustees, volunteers who give up a massive amount of time to share their expertise, to support the senior leadership teams in particular, and to ask the questions to make us stop and think, have we got this right? Should we be doing this differently? Thank you. And a final thank you from me is for my central team who are determined to provide our schools with the conditions to achieve excellence day in, day out, and make sure I know what I'm doing as well. And I'd also like to thank the heads and the senior leadership teams for showing great intellect, energy and a can-do attitude in the face of some serious challenges. So I'd like to wish all colleagues moving on to pastures new all the best. Hope you remember your time at an academy within the Sir John Brunner Foundation fondly, and who knows what the future will hold. Maybe we'll see you again back in our academies one day. So finally, I asked the heads to provide 3 highlights, a difficult job, 3 highlights from the year 2022-23, and they struggled with that as there's been so many. But this is what they settled on. So at the County High School Lethwich, the senior citizen party that didn't go quite to plan. There was a gas leak in the school, but the Year 11s adapted well and served takeaway dinners and escorted the guests to their cars. So that was really impressive. The school also won School of the Year in the Guardian Awards, received online from Dr. Hilary Jones. The SEND department were runner-up in that competition as Team of the Year. And there's been various sporting successes, but in particular the girls. A highlight was the under-14s netball team, who were runners-up in the national final of the Sister and Sports Shield. Over to Middlewich, where the staff and students came together during the Ofsted inspection in the last week of term before Christmas and rightly received that good judgment. They also came together at a recent inset day led by the new head teacher, where they came together to plan exciting initiatives for next year. And they've had the Aspire event with year 9 and 10 students sharing their expertise and talents, and there'll be more of that at Sports Day, which is coming up. Over to Sir John Dean's, and again a successful Ofsted inspection, certainly a highlight. But also the Little Shop of Horrors performance, which was an amazing performance, an amazing show from a large number of students, both front of house, on stage and back of house as well. And also they've successfully reintroduced the full-time work experience programme, which was a success with great numbers taking part. Over at Macclesfield, Ofsted gets a mention again, where the inspector rightly recognised all the progress the school is making. They had their Research Ed event this weekend with over 200 colleagues giving up a Saturday. A really, really energising, really interesting and thought-provoking event on Saturday, and really well organised by the Macclesfield Academy. And also being oversubscribed for their Year 11, that represents it. Families are seeing what's going on at the school and want to be part of it. So that's just a snapshot of what's happened this year. There's lots and lots more achievements and lots more to be proud of. My 3 highlights, well, seeing our academies day in, day out, living our how. Excellence, belonging and partnership. I wish you all a fantastic summer with whatever you've got planned. You most certainly deserve it. And then when we return, we go again. Thank you.